punctual, but that's not going to happen tonight. I'm here. I'm just almost with you, friends. I had a great weekend of gigs. I played at Karen's Place in Doylestown. Legendary place at this point, been around for years. Run by Don Heckler, whose name is synonymous with, if you look up in the dictionary Don Heckler, you'll see it under helpful people. Oh, good. Right off the bat, here's a song I want to play for you tonight, a Christmas song. It's Christmas music time in a way, isn't it? I mean, but I don't stand on ceremony. I've got 3 Christmas albums out, so of all people, I should have a vested interest in playing Christmas music and playing songs from my albums, but I don't. You know, I figured out a long time ago, friends, that, you know, my little piddling attempts at promoting my records on a local level mean almost nothing. So if I, you know, constantly annoyingly hawk them over and over and over again to the point where I'm even turning off my friends, and I might sell 5 more copies at the most. It's not the answer. It's not the key to having your album go viral or whatever. That has to happen organically in some other way, in some other land. Right now, I'm experiencing an uptick in my videos. And so on my YouTube channel, which is Folk Rock for You, so I heartily recommend. Now that I will promote and fight hard for each and every subscriber. I have 400 subscribers now, actually 408. So I need 92 more before I can monetize my channel. And yes, that word monetize means what you think it means. I can make money off my YouTube channel after 92 more subscribers. And then, you know, I see these people, I don't get it. I see people who have, you know, 147,000 subscribers, and they're not doing shit. They're just posting these little videos on a daily basis. Well, that's my thing. Now, I have really embraced the fact that if you want to build your channel, you have to post videos all the time, and I wasn't doing that. But I am going to do it now. And additionally, if you subscribe, you get the benefit of all of the Here and Gone shows that I do. I archive on YouTube, so they get posted. So if you miss one and you want to hang out with me for an hour or whatever on a Saturday morning while you're having your coffee, I am super glad to have you, to join you. Now, naturally, the mouse isn't working. Whatever. I'll look in the comments department, the chat page, so to speak, and see if any of you are indeed there. I teach songwriting and teach guitar. I teach ukulele. I teach even tipple if anybody wanted to learn it. I teach finger picking. I teach lead. I teach rhythm strumming, and I don't I don't hawk that enough either. And I should hawk it more because I actually love teaching. I don't do it as a default. I really like it. I enjoy all my students. I have a great student in New York City, Emily, who keeps me thinking about songwriting. Keeps me vital, keeps me involved in the process, and we get into a lot of interesting things. And I am sure, friends, that she would vouch for me that her lessons have enhanced her ability to write songs. So in other words, we don't just talk about songwriting in this flighty, esoteric, abstract way. There's a lot of hands-on exercises, et cetera, and her production output has increased since we started our lessons. So isn't it great that you can sit here in Bucks County and teach a student in New York City? I have some things to say about the great Steve Forbert tonight, and this is in the realm of a thing that we like to call Blue Christmas. There's a publisher in Nashville who pointedly posts or advertises for songs, and they say, whatever you do, don't send us Blue Christmas. We don't want any downers. Blue Christmas is a once-in-a-lifetime, lightning-striking type of song, and it's really not the way to go when you're trying to get a Christmas song published, etc. You do know, right? Are you aware of the fact that Christmas songs are just huge money makers, and if you write one and it catches on, you will definitely be set for life. I'm not exaggerating, and I hope that all of my students do that someday. It's not easy, but it's a worthwhile pursuit. And I have a friend who plays with Brett Eldridge, and Brett Eldridge does a Christmas album every year, I think, and then he does a Christmas tour. And my friend David Spinoza tours with him. And he said, I'm going to be on the Tonight Show, Chip. So check us out. So I did, and I taped it, and sure enough, Brett Eldridge has enough taste and wisdom to give David Spinoza one of the greatest guitar soloists ever. He gives him a long, funky solo in Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and it was just fantastic. And so I said, well, Spinoza, you're there. You see the manager. Brett Eldridge makes an album a year, does a Christmas tour, and could you get him one of my songs? So Spinoza very kindly said, and I have a song that's perfect for Brett Eldridge, really, and I'm not exaggerating, and I might do it for you tonight. And he comes back to me a day or two later, and this is nice of him to put himself out this way. He talked to the manager, and the manager said, no, we don't accept any unsolicited material. Everything we do is in-house. And so with that kind of attitude, you will surely never discover the next Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. I guarantee it, because those songs come out of left field. I once heard a singer, who was it? A singer who's from Ireland, who lives down in Nashville now, Maura O'Connell. And she was like, how does Bonnie Raitt find those great songs. Everybody's trying to find songs like that. And, a lot of you know that I've known Bonnie Raitt for decades. For one thing, Bonnie Raitt used to stand at the sink doing the dishes with rubber gloves on and a cassette player next to her and just pop in cassette after cassette after cassette, all unsolicited songs. And she probably listened to 1,000 cassettes before and never found a single song. But she never gave up hope, How did she find Love Has No Pride? That was somebody who sang it in a bar, I guess, in Woodstock. I Can't Make You Love Me was sent to her specifically by the writers. That wasn't unsolicited. But people discover songs like that by listening, looking. Today is December 8th, 43 years ago. We all got that news, if you're old enough to remember. Where were you? I'm sure you'll never forget where you were. I was watching the Mary Tyler Moore Show in the middle of the night in Watchung, New Jersey on my couch. A lot of my musician friends all watched that show, and we compared notes about it. And it was interrupted in the middle about 1:30, 1:20, and Chuck Scarborough came on and announced the news. And to his credit, he appropriately looked shaken. He wasn't just reading the news off like an automaton. And I leapt to my feet, friends, with tears in my eyes. I sprang off the couch in one movement. And then later, as the night went on, I went down to a 7-Eleven on Route 22 and picked up the Daily News. Here's the New York Post, not from that day, but this is what it looks like. It's a tabloid, and the Daily News just had 4 words, so they were in huge black letters. There was no picture, and the 4 words just said, John Lennon shot dead. And I went to bed around 7, 8 in the morning. My parents weren't up yet, and I left that newspaper on the kitchen table, which was kind of a rotten thing to do. I'm sure it was a horrible way to wake up for them. But at that point, you're lonely. You want to share the news with somebody. I went to see David Spinoza and John Tropez play at 7th Avenue South a couple of days after it happened. Does anybody remember the day of the week? Alexa, what day of the week was John Lennon shot?
John Lennon was shot on Monday, December 8th, 1980.
On a Monday. Okay, so that makes sense because I went to see David Spinoza on a Friday or Saturday at 7th Avenue South play with John Tropez. They both knew John Lennon. David Spinoza played with John Lennon. And they did a great show. They didn't say a word about it. Really hot show. Who was the drummer? I forget. Great funky up show. And then at the end, they got an encore. And they just did a wordless, somber, instrumental version with 2 lead guitars playing the song Imagine at the end. And it was a very moving moment. So we don't always get a lot of people here in the chat room, but we get a real high-class clientele here. The producer of David Bowie's Young Americans, the producer of the Ramones and the Talking Heads, Ed Stasium, he shows up every once in a while. Great musicians like Jim Flynn are often in the house. And dear old friends, too, like Marty and friends of mine who don't often say anything, but are there. And Harry Maslin, the aforementioned producer of Young Americans, and I have a huge disagreement going on about Now and Then. I adore it, and I think it's one of the best Beatles songs ever. One of the best Beatles records, I should say. It might be lacking a little bit as a song, but he actually said it's horrible. And I was like, Harry, horrible? That's a strong word to apply to this. I know it's true. It's all because of you. And if I make it through, it's all because of you. And now and then, if we must start again, well, we will know for sure that I love you. Now and then, I miss you. Oh, now and then, I want you to be there for me, always to return to me. Quite easy to play on the guitar. I'd be happy to teach it to you. If anybody wants to learn it, I could give you a Zoom lesson. Wherever you're at, you could sit in your living room and learn it. Blue Christmas. Annie and I were asked by a great guy, Dennis O'Neill, pastor down in Hopewell Baptist Church in Hopewell, New Jersey. And he asked us one year to do a Blue Christmas service. We had never heard of it. And apparently it's been catching on as years have gone by. And we were like, okay, we're up for it. But really, I really didn't like the idea. And I was reluctant. And I was like, do we have to make everything a downer? And now you're going to make Christmas blue. So this was a special service for hurting people who had lost loved ones, etc. And Annie and I went and played it. And it really, ultimately, in the final analysis, it changed my life. I got converted into understanding that, yes, Christmas is not just for those who are celebrating, but for the many, many people who have had tough times, tough years, and it's good to remember them around this time. Now that leads me, I did mention Steve Forbert, didn't I? And I finally met him just a year or two ago. And when I was going to Lafayette College in Easton, Pennsylvania, which is a lot of hills, a weird cosmic moment happened. And it was around this time. It was around December. It was cold and gray. And I drove up the hill in my parents' old Buick. And there were people sitting up on this hill. It's like this little park in Easton. I don't even think I could find it again. And there was a guy who was just your classic homeless looking guy, alcoholic, who had a brown paper bag, obviously with a bottle in it. And I drove up and I looked over. He was sitting on a rock on the top of this little hill in Easton. And just as I went by, synchronicity happened where I happened to synchronize with the moment that he decided he had enough. And he was drinking out of this bottle, and suddenly he threw it away from him. And it spun, and it wasn't empty. It had lots of booze in it, and as it spun like a firework, it was pouring out booze in this spinning circle. And I just drove by and I was like, oh, gee whiz. Should I stop? Should I go back? You can't stop and go back. And Steve Forbert wrote a song, one of his greatest. And the great drummer Barry Lazarowitz plays on it. And Barry did the exact same technique on my song, One-Eyed Jack, that he did on this song. Hi, Bob. Good to see you, brother. And the technique was, listen to this incredibly great record. Barry Lazarowitz only plays the fourth beat of the measure on the rim of the drums called side stick, that clicking sound. So it goes through 1, 2, 3, click, 1, 2, 3, click. And then finally, he goes to open snare on 2 and 4 only during the outro as the song is ending. And when I met him, I said, that was incredible that you did that. And he did the same thing on my record. He played side stick, which is some people call rim shots, and then played full snare in the last verse, the last section of my song, Black Beauty. So I met Steve at the New Hope Winery, and he walked in. He was a little late for his sound check, and he's a tall guy. I didn't know that. And he was looking around. Nobody even recognized him. This is the typical way of the world. So I said hello to him and welcomed him. And then I said, Steve, I do your song, Tonight I Feel So Far Away From Home. And it's funny. He's a craftsman. And the first question he asked me was, he said, oh, what key do you do it in? That interested me. Because he knows that the original key, A minor, now is a little bit like a strain for a baritone to sing. So I said, no, I actually do it in E minor or F sharp minor. E minor is really low. Here's one last thing about the song is, now that everybody writes charting pop songs by committee, and you know, if you see a Beyonce song get nominated for Song of the Year, like it did last year when Bonnie Raitt won for Song of the Year, there's like 10 writers on it, you know. There's like 5 writers on every Taylor Swift song, basically. It's written by committee. And listen to the bridge this time around of this beautiful Steve Forbert song, Tonight I Feel So Far Away From Home, because it's a bridge that could never have been written by committee. It could only have been written by one person. It's very uncomfortable sounding, and it's not sweet and words that roll off the tongue, but it says what he wanted it to say. wishing I was a little warmer, wondering where to go. I saw a man break down today, break down into tears. Tonight I feel so far away from home. Who can I confide in? Who can see me clear? Who will share my secrets? Who can really hear? I saw a man break down today, break down, down into tears. Tonight I feel so far away from home. Watch out there, mister, with your TV blues. Go walking lightly in your high-heeled shoes. Watch out there, mister, since you see so much. Go lightly flying on your graveyard crutch. People seeking people, standing on the earth, reaching for connection. They know what it's worth. I saw a man break down today, break down into tears. Tonight I feel so far away. From home. What key do you do that in? Was the question that Steve Forbert posed to me at the New Hope Winery. I got his home phone number years ago from Barry Lazarowitz, the aforementioned drummer. And so in 1979, I called Steve Forbert up. And his home phone number at the time was Folk City. And they said, Steve, where are you, Steve? You got a phone call. If I could just Make that a little tiny bit slower. Just have to split the difference. Tonight I feel so far away from home, Now, a few miles from here, this song was written. It's a song that isn't really a Christmas song, but it's associated with Christmas in some people's minds. This is a arrangement by a legendary jazz guitar player that almost all the jazz players of the world know, and a lot of the rock players. Jimmy Page knows who Johnny Smith is. It's amazing who knows Johnny Smith, the name Johnny Smith, who ended up going out to Washington State and running a music store after making his career in New York City as like a studio player. He played on a lot of TV shows in the early days, and this is his arrangement of My Favorite Things. less fortunate around Christmas enabled me, prompted me, inspired me to write this song 2 nights ago. And so tonight is the debut performance. That's one of the things that happens here at the Here and Gone show on occasion. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. It would help, and you'd get good content out of it. I post a lot of songs. I'm posting songs every other day now. I've been doing a lot of songs on the ukulele, including Those Were the Days, which has a lot of views. And When I'm 64, which went viral in a small way. So it's up to about 650 views now after only a couple of days. One of the things I don't post that often on my YouTube channel, Folk Rock For You, is originals. But I will. I'll salt them in. They don't get very many likes or very many views. People like to hear the familiar things, and I'm with you on that. But here's my new song. This is called Rosie's Blues. And this is the debut performance. So let me get a beat on it here. I might get my little Korg thing going here. And see if I... Jeez, that sounds horrible. Okay. My name is Rosie. Where's Jim Flynn when I need him? It's pretty good. That's about it. It's a little bit fast, this blues. So, here it is. My name is Rosie. I'm a waitress in a diner downtown. I have a little girl, Amanda, my neighbor friend, watches her at night. End of the month, I barely have enough to make the rent, yeah. My ex-husband moved out and left no forwarding address, no. Never really cared about either one of us, no. He left an old guitar, which I play when I get home late at night, yeah. I need someone to hold me. When I play the blues, I can forget my troubles for a while. And this is how it sounds when I play the blues. My name is Rosie. I'm a waitress in a diner downtown. Rosie's Blues is the name of that there new song of mine. I'd sing it proudly at any blues jam that I go to, and I might be showing up at some of them. My future looks active. I believe I've been asked now to play the Surgeonsville Inn. I've been asked to play the New Hope Winery. I've been asked to play the Lambertville House, which is a great place in the middle of Lambertville, really high-class place. I am going to be playing the Pittstown Inn December 16th. December 15th, I'm back at the Tranquility Brewery in Warminster, Pennsylvania, and happily so. And I've got various other concerts, etc., in the offing. As that old expression that nobody understands that expression at all goes. Next week I shall return. Actually, I'm playing a party in Princeton this Sunday at a seafood restaurant whose name I forget, but boy, I'm so happy to be back in Princeton. I haven't been there in years. I used to play there, and I loved it. It's the craziest place in the world in some strange parallel universe. You just drive 40 minutes from New Hope or less, and you are in the midst of this magical Christmas town, Princeton, New Jersey, where you could just walk the streets that both Albert Einstein and Brooke Shields walked. You guys know I'm a diabetic, right? And you'll have to excuse me. I have to go take a leak, and I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'll put this up so that people who stumble across might know who it is. into the camera range without getting my ducks in a row, as they say. Thank you for your patience and your understanding. I'll put this back where it was. Where else might I be playing? Well, without being too brash about it, I'll tell you, I'm just going to be playing everywhere in 2024. I'm going to get back on the circuit in a very big way. And I will keep you apprised of it. I will look forward to seeing you at some of these gigs. Right on your calendar, December 16th at the Pittstown Inn. That's local. And they have a new setup at the Pittstown Inn. So you don't play under the staircase anymore. Boy, am I glad to hear that. That was just the most bizarre setup ever. So I did say I was going to play a Christmas carol, at least one. My uke, it's sitting over there, just taking up space. I do have a new video out of Walking in the Air, the theme from The Snowman. I've really come to love that music. You know what show I'm talking about, that animated special that was made in Europe? Please forgive me, this is just awful. My nose is itching horribly tonight. And no matter what I do, I can't stop it from right in the middle of the song, driving me crazy. So. My next post, probably on YouTube, is going to be a ukulele arrangement of Hey Jude. So if that might interest you, and it should, I would say to go to Folk Rock for You, Folk Rock, the number 4 and the letter U, and then And then subscribe, and you'll get notifications of all my things. To my friend Marty and to others who might live up in more northern New Jersey, and it's hard to get to Bucks County. And it's a kind of a haul. So I'm looking to book a place. I've just contacted a place up there in Bernardsville. And so that's kind of halfway or even more than halfway, right? So Marty, I'll let you know about that. What is the name of the place? I forget. It's a really nice old inn. It's not the Old Mill Inn, although that's in that neighborhood. Is it the Claremont? Yeah, I think it's called the Claremont, in case you've ever heard of it. And they hire solo acoustic performers, so I'm going to try to get up there so that my friend Marty and other people up in the northern area of New Jersey can see me more easily. Well, this is the last song for tonight. Thanks for listening. Thanks to those of you who might be listening in the future when I post this on YouTube tonight. And I'm going to end tonight on a Christmas song I wrote a couple of years ago. I've never recorded it, which is a shame because I think it would make a good recording. It would make a good record, and it would make a moment for people who can relate to this sentiment. And so I'll leave you with this thought tonight. It's called Angel in the Christmas Play. The dirtiest kid on the block, he carried a pistol he made out of wood. His aunt didn't care either way, so I gave him a part as an angel, angel in the Christmas play. Refused to remember his lines. He didn't know how to stand still like he should. He ruined his aunt's wedding day, so I gave him a part as an angel, angel in the Christmas play. Laughed at the doll that played Jesus. He pretended he didn't care that the other kids had real costumes, and he just had an old bed sheet and some white cardboard wings to wear. I'd love to know where he is now. He once asked me, why should I try to be good when nobody cares either way? So I gave him a part as an angel, angel in the Christmas play. Thank you. God bless you. Don't stress out this week with all of your Christmas preparations. Enjoy it. And I'll see you soon, Lord willing.